y'all. It's your girl Alex, and I am here with my best friend Brittney. And as the summer kicked off, I just had this idea that I wanted to start inviting people over, especially since I started decorating my patio, and just have like girl talk and sip on something and just relax. So this is the very first episode, so of course I had to bring my best friend to talk about none other than friendship. Yeah. Like, the idea for me wanting to talk about friendships really came from the latest episode. Well, by the time you guys see this, not the latest episode. It's the episode that dropped the Sunday before Memorial Day. Oh, Well, actually, the last two episodes before that with Insecure. Mm-hmm. And, like, the dynamic between Molly and Issa.
It's crazy.
Like,
I don't even understand what the problem is.
It's just like... I mean, in my opinion, Molly, like, she just seemed like a little hater.
She's doing a lot. She's doing a lot.
Yeah, like, I just feel like she is doing too much. But it brings, like, a really good question is, as you transition to different seasons, as your friends transition to different seasons, and really start walking to their purpose, that's kind of the age that we're at, that 30 age. And it's like, at 30, people are, like, getting married, having babies, get into like their dream careers, they're buying homes, they're just like doing all these things,
being successful.
Yeah, being successful. Like, we're starting to like really accomplish these big girl and big boy roles and dreams that, you know, a lot of us had for a long time. And it's like a lot of your friends that you have now, you either transition from, well, a lot of people don't even have friends from high school still.
Yeah,
like, we're a rarity.
Lucky over here. Okay.
Like, which amazes me, like, wow, you don't talk to your high school best friend.
Yeah.
But it's like, you transition, like, that transition from high school to college, and then you made your college friends, and then, like, we're hitting that point now when you're transitioning really from your college friends to, like, forever
real
friends.
Life adults.
Yeah. They're like, these are about to be your forever friends.
Right.
I think about, like, my mom's friendship and the women that she's really close to.
Yeah.
Except for, like, 2 or 3 people, they're all friends she made as an adult, like through work or through activities with me and my sister. Like, those are her friends.
Yeah.
So it's like you hitting your forever friend stage.
Yeah, and I think that's normal. Because we got into this era of like no new friends, like maybe 5 to 7 years ago. No new friends. And in reality, I probably have more new friends now than I have old friends. Because even like within our friend group, I'm closest to you. Like, I talk to you, I see you all the time.
Right.
And unless we're doing something as a collective, I don't really see even the other girls who are in our high school friend group.
Yeah, you don't.
So it's not that I'm not like, that they're not my friends, but I'm a lot closer to other people who I established relationships with as an adult. Yeah. Especially like as an entrepreneur, like when you start to like graduate in life and do different things, you kind of network within those realms. Yeah. So as entrepreneurs, like I have entrepreneur friends or married friends, you know, still working on that. But, you know, like you try to reach out and you gravitate towards friends who are in the same stage of life as you. Right. Who are near.
Yeah, who live close.
Because if they don't live close by, it'd be a challenge.
Ooh. Let me tell you, long distance friendships is hard. Like, you have to be so intentional.
Yeah. And I'm bad at that. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I do not like to talk on the phone. So when I lived in Jacksonville, I'm surprised we survived that, like, 3-year stint of me being gone for, like...
But it's not like we didn't busy, like...
We did when I came home, but otherwise...
No, but, like, you came to Statesboro a couple of times. Yeah. And then I went to Jacksonville that one time.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, we had, like, the in-person part had to have happened. Yeah. Because on the phone, like, I don't unless I'm caking with a dude. Right. It's different when you talk to your boo. But yeah, it's crazy though. But I think also one thing that helped was, so when you were talking about like Issa and Molly, the thing for me is like when they get together, they blurt out everything that they feeling, or they don't say nothing at all. Yeah. When we have like disagreements, we disagree on a lot of stuff just because of our like upbringings and our our perspectives. But when we like, if we do something to unintentionally hurt the other person, I think we do a lot of self-evaluation before we like just be like, girl, you did da da da. Yeah,
it's like they finger point.
Yeah,
like you really like this, you do this. They do know like, what did I do? Well, actually, I don't know. Issa at one point was kind of like feeling like because she was the one unemployed and wasn't doing much with her life, that she was a kind of the sucky friend,
right?
Because Molly's a lawyer.
Yeah.
But I mean, in this last season, Molly needs some self-evaluation.
Yeah, they do, and I think that's a key for like long-term friendships, like, and because it's the same thing when you're in a relationship, like a romantic relationship with somebody. Yeah. Before you go to that person and you start pointing the finger, you kind of evaluate and, you know, like, what did I do? Did I deserve that? Did that person mean whatever they did? Right. The way that I'm thinking that they meant it. So I think that's also helped us like navigate various seasons and stuff as well.
Yeah. I think that one thing you said is like when we have disagreements or we don't see eye to eye on something, like we communicate it too though. Yeah. Like it's not like when I've like boiled up and just like blurt out 1,000 things. Like
we've never had a yelling match. We ain't never like cursed each other out or nothing. And it's been a few friends who done got cursed, okay? So
like because I just think that when you value a friendship or you value any type of relationship, you respect it. Like you respect the other person and you come to them respectfully. You don't like try to disrespect them or try to hurt them. But it also goes back to self-evaluation too, because a lot of things come from unintentional. Like to talk about like our friend circle from high school a little bit, like most of us are still tight except for one person. Yeah. And it literally, we can't give you a concrete reason why we're not cool with that person anymore. And people who are close to her are probably going to see it.
It came from out of nowhere, and that's just like like you can't. There's no way for a friendship to survive if you're sitting on a bunch of stuff, and then one day there's this camel that breaks your entire back, and you blurt out everything you're feeling, and you can't come back from that. And so the way to like navigate even something like that is like now I have to pull away from these people as opposed to really exploring and that was like on the cusp of our adulthood life.
Yeah, it's like when we first came out of college.
Yeah. So I mean, I just feel like things like that. I mean, and who teaches us these things, right? Like,
you just learn.
Nobody taught me how to be a friend.
Yeah, you don't.
I didn't see my mom growing up. Like your mom, you see her hang out with girls and stuff like that. I ain't never seen my mom like just hang out with girlfriends. I'm sure she has, but it's not something that I was ever able to see. So I navigate friendships primarily based on how I would like people to be friends toward me. Right. So that whole part, exactly. Treat people how you want to be treated. So if something is bubbling up in me and I know Alex did something to me, and I know for a fact that if I did something to her, I would want her to come and talk to me about it. Then I'm not just going to sit there and boil over, creating all these narratives in my head about what this person thinks of me, that they're better than me, and all this other kind of stuff. And I mean, that's just a reality. Like, you have to have, again, that self-reflection when you are trying to navigate long-term friendships.
Yeah, like, that's so important. And I think what you also have to realize, and that I feel like you realize that situation coming from like our standpoint, is that sometimes you can't be the only person in a friendship. Like friendships are two-way streets too. And if it's just like a relationship, if somebody gives up or somebody doesn't want to be your friend anymore, you have to realize like I have to let this go. And if we're meant to be friends, it'll come back. But you cannot force somebody to be your friend. Right. Which is something that like I struggle with. Like my mom will tell you my entire life. I always felt like everybody has to be my friend. I'm a nice person. Why wouldn't you want to be my friend? I'm like a giver. Like just as a kid, that's how I always was. I was always sharing, always giving. Like, why wouldn't you want to be my friend? And it really hurt my feelings as a child when people didn't want to be my friend. I'd be like, I don't understand. I was like, everybody not gonna be your friend. Like, you'll realize.
I get that though, like, cause I don't know if I was like that. No, I was like, I wanted to be accepted as a child. Like, I wanted everybody to like me. I was nice to everybody. Like, if people called me out of my name, I didn't understand. Like, what did I ever do to you? What did I do to you? So I get it. I definitely understand that. And even now, like, sometimes that's a challenge to navigate because you're like, I'm a good person. So the only reason why somebody wouldn't like me is because you're a bad person.
It's like, what about me don't you like? Right. Like, and you try to understand that because you think maybe I can fix it, but then you have to just realize that it's not meant to be everybody's friend. Right. And that's okay. Like, you will have the right people in your life. Like, I just believe that we navigate seasons with different people for a reason. Like, they're supposed to be my friend for that season for a specific reason, and now that season's over, we all have to move on. The Bible says it, to give biblical. The Bible says
there's a time and season for everything.
For everything. So, you know, you have to learn how to navigate those friendships. But it's just like, how do you think, or what do you think is the 3 main things you need to sustain a long-term friendship?
I think we already done tackled 2. Self-reflection and communication. Because again, self-reflection is you looking in the mirror and figuring out, number 1, are you being the type of friend that you want that person to be to you? And number 2, when there is a level of offense experienced in friendship, really understanding, like, if this person is really your friend, do you think they truly intended to offend you the way in which you're thinking? Right. And then communication is communicating all of that, talking about it, conversing about it, expressing feelings in a space that's safe for both of y'all, where it's not like somebody, you got a whole crew taking your side, or vice versa. And I think maybe the last part is like a level of understanding, and that stems from our friendship as well. Like, we've experienced different seasons, not just in our friendship, but in our lives individually. So, like, when you had Kendall and you became a mother, like, that shifted the dynamics of our friendship. When I got married, that shifted the dynamics of our friendship. And we have to, like, almost grow to understand that. Because at the times, I think, in which those things happened, it's not like we were both 30 and already past, like, this, you know, this stage of like, dang, I don't have my best friend around all the time anymore. We were in our 20s, early 20s. Tech was like 25 when I got married. And Ken was 23.
I was 23.
So, like, that's still, like, a stage of, like, self-discovery when you really need your friends because you're navigating horrible relationships or disappointments in jobs. Things like that, trying to make adult decisions with a still very much so immature mind. So having a level of understanding, like, oh, she has a baby now, she can't come out to the club tonight. Like, she's married now, she's not gonna maybe come over every day of the week. I can't be your wingman.
My friend gonna come with us. No, not no more.
Well, now it's me and my man coming to check you out because you're not about to play my friend, okay?
Like,
But yeah, I think those 3 things are super important because had we had attitudes like, oh, you can't never do nothing no more because you got a child. Like, what type of, you know, that would have really probably demolished any type of relationship between the 2 of us if we could not understand that we each navigated different seasons at different times.
And I think, like you said, understanding that we are all growing. Like, everybody, you're continually growing. So, and I think that's part of it too, is like, if you maintain shared interests. I think one thing with me and Brittney is that, okay, high school, obviously, it's like, if you have lunch with somebody, y'all become best friends.
We still eat together every day.
For all 4 years, and we're best friends. And, you know, you go through college, which it was like, we weren't like still similar, but not, we went to 2 different colleges, but I think a lot of it, the fact that we hung out when we came home really helped sustain our relationship during that time. And then, like, entering adulthood, entering, like, being an adult, having your first real job around the same time. And then both of us slowly entering into entrepreneurship at the same time. Well, Brittney is moving fast. Slowly but even into entrepreneurship, I think it helps, like, we can support each other because we kind of understand some of the same things. And it's not like, one decided to be entrepreneur, so the other one decided to be entrepreneur. It was all natural progression for both parties, and it just happened like that. And so because we have shared interests, even though we're continuing to grow, it helps sustain the relationship too.
I think it also even extends to, like, spirituality, because one would probably say, oh, Brittney, you've been in church your whole life, but I have never been this serious about, like, my relationship with Christ. And I think we both began to navigate that season and explore it separately, but around the same time. So we're able to also, like, cover one another, hold each other accountable for various things that we were struggling with while we were trying to become closer with Christ, following in our purposes. Like, that, I think that played a major role as well.
I agree.
Because,
because if your friend is
we ain't in the streets no more.
Right, if your friend is trying to be in the club every weekend and not go to church on Sunday, so you gotta at least try.
No,
try to go to church.
Better call her.
I don't know.
Get up, girl.
I know at one point I was going to church on Saturdays, so I definitely wasn't going to the club. Right. I was tired. I was serving on Saturday.
Right.
But I agree. Like, just having those same interests and same kind of goals and really supporting each other. And I don't think having the exact same goals is important or necessary to be a friend, but learning how to be supportive of your friend, of whatever their goals are. Because that's another dynamic in Issa and Molly's friendship, is that I feel like Molly is always skeptical of everything Issa does until it pops off.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay, girl. And it's like, but I need you to be like my day one supporter.
Me up from the idea stage. Yeah.
Like, do you hype your friends up? Do you support them? Are you the only person showing up to their stuff? Are you telling other people about their things? Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, support is free.
And I don't even think that means like if it's a bad idea, don't tell your friend. Like,
right,
hey,
but that's like part of support.
Right. Help them figure out how to navigate and explore like maybe more effective methods for making their dreams happen. But you definitely should be one of their biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah, don't be the first gifted. Don't be the person pouring like the down in time. Don't be that person. Don't be that friend, because it just like it actually I think helps divide a friendship, because for me personally, I would like not want to share with you. Yeah. Like, if I knew if I came to you, you're always gonna be like, I don't know, girl. I mean, if you want to do it. Like, I'm not going to tell you anything, because I don't have time for that, and I'm thinking you praying against me if it don't work out. I'm like, I knew she prayed against me.
I know she was.
I know she was praying against me.
That's real though. Like, I don't think, and that goes for everything, because that would transfer to every other aspect of our relationship.
Right.
Like, if you always doubting my ideas, I'm not about to come tell you about this new man in my life. I'm not about to share like all these milestones with you, because you're always being pessimistic, and then I would probably feel like you're pessimisticness. I don't even know if that's the word, right? But I'm gonna think it's coming from like a place of envy. Yeah, especially if I already feel like I'm trying to grow. And I think that's another aspect of that relationship, Molly and Issa. Like, Molly's a lawyer. Issa's like a community organizer. And from the social standpoint,
she curates cultural events, okay?
Come on.
That's what she said. Tell them girls who left her.
Right, but see how she sees what she does versus how other people might see it.
Yeah, like, it's a downplay, because we try to say, oh, if you do this or you make this type of money, or if you're at this point, you must be better than your other friend who's not doing that. But maybe they're just as fulfilled as you, if not more, doing what they're doing.
It's not always green.
Right, like, so... But like you were going back to what you said previously about being pessimistic, and like, even if you're not supporting my dreams, but maybe even before we get to like me sharing my dreams, maybe you were always like, didn't like any dude I ever brought around. Like, you never had nothing positive to say about anybody. It also can drive a friendship apart, because if me and this person get serious, or we move towards marriage, and you are always like, I don't know, girl, like, I'm not bringing you around, like, I'm just not, like, it's going to drive the friendship apart. Yeah. And I think that sometimes, even though we care about our friends and we're just trying to voice our concerns, we have to kind of monitor ourselves when we let that become always the center of our conversation. Yeah. Because you don't, or not even, or you let it become the center of your conversation, and then you don't ask your friend how it's making them feel or what their thoughts are, and not acknowledging it. Yeah, you're not. You're just like, well, I think this, that, and then third, and then like letting that be the end. Like, you have to, like, how does it make you feel, or what is this, or try to see the positive of what your friend sees. Yeah. Because if you don't, like I said, it'll drive a friendship apart. Yeah, that's real. And you need friends. You need accountability. You need people who are going to be in your corner. I always say, I can't date a guy who don't have no friends. Like, one, that's weird. Like, straight up. I think that is very interesting.
Be a loner. Sorry.
If you don't have any friends.
For people like us, though. We way too outgoing.
Way too social to be with somebody who has no friends. Like, what do you mean? Like, to me, it's like hard to fathom not being able to do life with people. And like, I think it provides a healthy balance. Okay, so if somebody in a relationship, how do you think like balancing friendship and being in a committed relationship? Well, in a marriage, you're not in a committed relationship. She's married.
But even in general, it's tough, because like when we started off, like, I'm horrible at like staying in touch unless I'm in your face. So But when you get into a romantic relationship, I literally used to fall asleep on the phone with Chris. Mm-hmm. So there is a different dynamic, because while friendships are lasting and you work to make them last, when you get into a relationship that leads to marriage, that's more of a like, I gotta make this work type of feeling or emotion. There is a higher level fear of like failure in a marriage, or you know, there's like a greater loss if you are to like divorce or separate or experience those things on any level. So I think people gravitate to like pouring more into those than they do their friendships. But when you realize that, that's when it's important to be like, dang, I have not like made time for the other important people in my life. So I do feel like personally for me, I've learned that number one, if my husband get on my nerves and I done distance myself from all my friends, who I'm gonna go to? Who house I'm gonna go to, and so I can drink and just like drink, pray, and no, for real, in that order: drink, pray, cry, and get some advice. Who I'm gonna go to be able to do that. But number two, just in general, like those friendships are valuable. We found value in them at 14, 15, 25, and now 30. So what changes just because I'm in a relationship? Number one, that's unhealthy to to attach yourself so much to one person that everybody else is forgotten. But number two, those friendships are necessary to continue cultivating you and that person. So like in our situation, you cultivate me all the time because you aspire to be a wife and you do things on your own time that I feel like grows you as like someone's potential wife. So when I'm tripping because I've forgotten what it means to be a wife, a godly wife, and I come to you, you will check me. And a lot of women who are married don't feel like they can share certain things with their single friends. But when I do share things with you, I get poured back into probably in ways that I don't really want to, but it's always like a check, a spiritual check, a relational check, and that is important. And the only way to have those things is to balance out your friendships and to also make sure that you make your friend an important part of your life, even though you're in a relationship, because you don't know what they're going through. Like, that's true. There could be, like we talked about earlier, them feeling like, you know, there's a sense of abandonment or a level of loneliness now because you're in a relationship and maybe they are not. Maybe they're going through a tumultuous relationship. It's just so many things that could happen and it's way too sensitive of an issue for you to shut yourself off from it just because now you have your own partner. So I definitely think it's important. I guess ways to balance it out is to just be cognizant. A lot of times, so if you tell me like you need accountability in something or to check in with you throughout the week about something in particular, or sometimes if you're just giving me general information about something that you aspire to do or that you're dealing with, I will literally make a note in my phone. Like, call Alex on this day, send Alex a text, and just check in because I know me. I get busy. I can forget things easily. So, like, that's my own strategy for like making sure that, and it's not just you, I do it with like other people who I know. That's a good strategy. Yeah, I do it with people who I know need me to like come in and be like, hey, what you doing? How are you feeling? How are you navigating? Like sometimes you do have to remind yourself, you need to ask somebody how they're doing today. I don't do well with talking on the phone, but I will send you a text message or a voice text. And let you know like that I'm just thinking about you. So that's one thing that I do for sure.
Yeah, and I think coming from the other side, like as a friend, maybe you're the friend who your best friend now is married or in a serious relationship. It's just like, one, being understanding and respectful of their relationship. And then two, I think you also have a duty to check in with your friend. Just because their relationship doesn't mean their life is perfect either. Like, those two don't equal each other. And I think that sometimes people think that, like, oh, well, you are fine now because you have a partner. Well, like, they still need your friendship too. So I think you have to realize and understand that that's not a replacement of you. And I know some people might struggle with that, but that's not a replacement. It's just two different people in two different stages. It's just like when you start having multiple kids.
Yeah.
They don't replace each other. Now you just have multiple kids.
To make time.
Yeah. Like, that's not how it works. So, just like to wrap up the conversation, just to highlight some of the things we talked about, like some keys to healthy friendships is self-reflection, looking into yourself, treating people the way you want to be treated as a friend, and then communicating. Like, communicating is really big when you are, like, especially in conflict, but anytime. I think if you just have healthy communication in general, when conflict arises, it's easy to resolve instead of being like, oh, I don't want to deal with it. Right. Because so many people naturally want to run from conflict. It's just part of being a human. And then third, you said being understanding, navigating different seasons of life and understanding that we handle them differently. We experience them at different times. So just utilizing self-reflection and communication as a way to understand that we're not going to deal with the same things at the same time in life, but I'm still here for you. Right. Yeah. So I just think those three things are very important. Understanding that you have to be intentional in all of your relationships, especially your friendships, no matter the season. If the person is important to you, that you will reach out. So let this be a reminder to you. If you have that friend you haven't talked to that you want to check in on, go ahead, text her now. Send her a voice message. Call her up if that's your thing. FaceTime her. Just so you can continue to have that intentional, healthy friendship. And what I also want you guys to do is drop down some things that you think are important in friendships in the comments. Because we can all learn and grow from each other. So I really wanted to make this a conversation. So ask your best friend. Y'all both drop some tips to help others maintain healthy friendships. That's good. Well, thank you for sipping with me, Brittney. I wouldn't even tell y'all what was drinking. They're almost
gone now.
But we had strawberry watermelon sparkling ice, which is my new favorite mixer, with Malibu and some ice in the blender. Cause it's hot. It's like I said, it's summertime in Atlanta, and it's like a smooth 90 right now.
Is it summer yet?
It's not even technically summer, like per the calendar. That's like the end of June. But you know, I feel like Memorial Day kicks off summer.
It does.
It's like it's summertime. Like Will Smith.
Yep.
Miami. Like that's like the summertime song, right?
Yep.
All right. See you in the next one.
Bye.